In the dim glow
Stay
of a
behind me,
rainy
Emily.
evening on the
This
bustling
is none of your
campus
business.
Evergreen University,
Leave me
a
alone!
thunderclap
Not a
echoed
chance!
like a warning as Mark Thompson, a weathered single dad working as a night janitor, stumbled upon a scene that would change his life forever. There she was, a young woman cornered against the cold brick wall of the library, her books scattered like fallen leaves, while a hulking college jock loomed over her, his voice a venomous snarl. "You think you're better than us, freshman? Hand over that laptop, or I'll make sure you regret ever showing up here." Mark's heart raced. He wasn't a hero, just a man scraping by to feed his daughter back home. But in that split second, something primal ignited within him. He stepped forward, mop in hand, and barked, "Hey! Back off, kid. Pick on someone your own size." The bully turned, eyes widening in surprise, but Mark stood firm, unaware that this act of quiet courage would unravel secrets, forge unbreakable bonds, and prove that one person's kindness can rewrite destinies. If you're hooked already, and I bet you are, hit that like button right now to show some love for stories that touch the heart and remind us of the good in the world. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Click subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another tale of triumph, tears, and unexpected twists. Trust me, this one's going to stick with you long after it's over. Mark Thompson was no stranger to hardship. At 42, he carried the weight of a life that had thrown him curveball after curveball. His wife, Sarah, had passed away 5 years earlier in a car accident that left him shattered and alone to raise their daughter, Lily, who was now 10 and the light of his world. Mark had dropped out of college himself back in the day to support his young family, trading dreams of becoming an engineer for whatever jobs paid the bills. Now, he mopped floors and emptied trash bins at Evergreen, a prestigious private university where the students drove cars fancier than his rundown apartment. He worked the night shift to be home for Lily during the day, helping with homework, packing lunches, and tucking her in with stories of better tomorrows. "We're a team, kiddo," he'd say, kissing her forehead. But inside, Mark felt the exhaustion creeping in, the bills piling up, the loneliness that gnawed at him like a persistent ache. He wasn't looking for trouble that rainy night, he was just trying to finish his rounds and get home before Lily woke up from a nightmare. The girl he saved was Emily Carter, though Mark didn't know her name then. She was 19, with wide hazel eyes that held a mix of fear and defiance as she clutched her backpack tighter. Emily wasn't your typical freshman, she was the daughter of Alexander Carter, the billionaire CEO of Carter Tech Industries, a global empire built on innovative software and gadgets that powered half the world's smartphones. But Emily had begged her father to let her attend college under a pseudonym, Emily Hayes, to escape the shadow of her family's wealth and prove she could make it on her own. No bodyguards, no limos, just her wits and a dorm room shared with 3 other girls. She wanted to study computer science, to innovate like her dad, but without the silver spoon label. That night, she'd been working late on a group project when Jake Harlan, the star quarterback and campus bully, decided to target her. Jake came from old money, but his entitlement masked deep insecurities, failed classes, a crumbling family back home, and a need to dominate to feel powerful. "Newbies like you need to learn their place," he'd sneered, shoving her shoulder. Mark's intervention was simple but firm. He positioned himself between them, his janitor's uniform soaked from the rain, and said, "Son, whatever's eating at you, taking it out on her ain't the way. Walk away now, or I'll have to call security." Jake laughed at first, towering over Mark by a good 6 inches. "You? A mop pusher? Mind your business, old man." But something in Mark's steady gaze, the eyes of a father who'd faced real loss, made Jake hesitate. Emily seized the moment, grabbing her books and murmuring a quick, "thank you," before darting into the library. Jake muttered curses and stormed off, but not before vowing under his breath, "This isn't over." Mark watched him go, his hands shaking as adrenaline faded. He didn't know it yet, but that single act had set off a chain reaction. The next day, Emily couldn't shake the memory. She sought out Mark during his shift, finding him in the cafeteria wiping down tables. "Hey, Janitor guy. I wanted to thank you properly. I'm Emily. Mark looked up, surprised, his face creasing into a warm smile. No need, miss. Just doing what anyone should. But Emily insisted on buying him a coffee from the vending machine, and they sat for a few minutes. She learned about Lily, how she loved drawing unicorns and dreamed of being an artist, and Mark heard about Emily's passion for coding, though she kept her background vague. My dad's in tech, she said simply. There was an instant connection, a shared vulnerability. Emily saw in Mark the protective father figure she'd sometimes missed in her own busy dad, and Mark saw in her the determination he wished for Lily. As weeks passed, their paths crossed more often. Mark would wave hello during his rounds, and Emily started leaving small notes of encouragement on his cart. You're a hero in disguise, with a doodle from Lily that she'd somehow convinced him to share. But trouble brewed. Jake hadn't forgotten. He began spreading rumors about Emily, that she was a snob, that she'd cheated on exams. His cronies joined in, isolating her in classes, hiding her assignments, even tampering with her laptop during a lab session. Emily felt the walls closing in. She was too proud to call her father, determined to handle it herself. One evening, it escalated. Jake cornered her again in the parking lot, this time with two friends. Time to pay up, rich girl, he taunted, though he had no idea how right he was. Emily's heart pounded, she fumbled for her phone, but Jake knocked it away. Mark was finishing his shift early that night because Lily had a school play. He heard the commotion and rushed over, his protective instincts flaring. Not again, he growled, stepping in. This time, it got physical. Jake shoved Mark hard, sending him stumbling into a car. Mark pushed back, not with fists, but with words. What's this really about, kid? You think hurting her makes you strong? I've lost everything once, wife, dreams, and bullying won't fill that hole in you. Jake's friends hesitated, but Jake swung a punch, grazing Mark's jaw. Campus security arrived just in time, alerted by a bystander, and broke it up. Jake was hauled away, yelling threats, while Emily helped Mark to his feet. Why do you keep saving me? She whispered, tears in her eyes. Mark winced, touching his bruised face. Because no one deserves to feel alone. And because, you remind me of my daughter. I'd want someone to protect her too. The incident made waves on campus. Jake was suspended pending investigation, but he came from influential parents who pressured the university to downplay it. Whispers started about Mark, the janitor hero. Some called him, but others questioned if he'd overstepped. His supervisor pulled him aside. Thompson, you're on thin ice. We can't have staff getting into fights. Mark nodded, but inside, fear gripped him. Losing this job meant no health insurance for Lily, no stability. That night, he sat with Lily, who noticed his bruise. Daddy, are you okay? She asked, her small hand on his. Yeah, pumpkin. Just helped a friend. But sleep evaded him, memories of Sarah flooded back, her laugh, her strength, how she'd always said, Mark, your heart is your greatest tool. Use it wisely. Emily, meanwhile, wrestled with guilt. She confided in her roommate about the attacks, but kept her identity secret. I have to fix this, she thought. She started digging into Jake's background using her tech skills, nothing illegal, just public records. She discovered Jake's family was falling apart. His dad had lost his job, his mom was ill, and Jake was flunking out under the pressure to maintain the family legacy. It humanized him, but didn't excuse his actions. Emily decided to confront him privately, away from his posse. Jake, I know life's tough for you right now. But taking it out on me? That's not who you want to be. Jake scoffed at first, but her empathy cracked his armor. You don't know anything about me, he muttered. Maybe not, she replied, but I know pain when I see it. Get help, or you'll lose everything. As the university investigation dragged on, Mark faced his own challenges. His bruise healed, but the emotional toll mounted. Lily's school called. She was acting out, worried about her dad. "I don't want you to get hurt," she cried one night. Mark held her close, fighting back tears. "I promise, I'll be careful. But sometimes, standing up is the only way." To make ends meet, he took on extra odd jobs, fixing bikes, mowing lawns, leaving him exhausted. Emily noticed and started helping subtly, tutoring Lily via video calls, claiming it was for a class project, bringing homemade meals to Mark's shifts. Their bond deepened, late-night talks revealed shared dreams. Emily opened up about feeling invisible in her father's shadow, and Mark shared how Sarah's death had left him questioning his worth. "You're worth everything," Emily said softly one evening. "You've given me hope." The turning point came during a stormy campus event, a fundraiser gala where Alexander Carter was the guest speaker. Emily had avoided it, but her father insisted on a surprise visit. Mark was working overtime, cleaning up after the setup. Jake, still suspended but sneaking around, saw his chance for revenge. He tampered with the stage lights, planning to sabotage Emily if she showed. But Mark spotted him in the shadows. "Jake, stop this now. It's not worth ruining your life." Jake whirled, fury in his eyes. "You ruined mine, old man." A scuffle ensued. Mark dodged a swing, but Jake grabbed a loose cable, yanking it free. Sparks flew, and the lights flickered dangerously. Emily arrived just then, dragged by her roommate. She saw the chaos and rushed in. "Stop. Both of you." Alexander Carter, witnessing from afar, recognized his daughter and stormed over. Security pinned Jake, and in the aftermath, truths tumbled out. Emily confessed her identity to Mark. "I'm not just Emily Hayes. My dad, he's the CEO." Mark's eyes widened in shock. "You, what?" Alexander approached, gratitude etched on his face. "You protected my girl when I couldn't." "Thank you." But Mark shook his head. "I didn't do it for thanks. I did it because it's right." The resolution unfolded swiftly. Alexander used his influence to ensure Jake got counseling instead of expulsion, a second chance, with conditions. Jake, humbled, apologized to Emily and Mark, beginning a path to redemption. The university commended Mark, promoting him to facilities manager with better pay and hours. But the real reward was personal. Alexander offered Mark a scholarship fund for Lily's future, saying, "You've shown me what true protection looks like." Emily and Mark's friendship endured. She became like an older sister to Lily, teaching her coding while Mark shared life lessons. Months later, as spring bloomed on campus, Mark reflected on it all. He'd faced bullies, both external and internal, the doubts that whispered he wasn't enough. But in protecting Emily, he'd protected a piece of himself. Lily thrived, her drawings now including a new family portrait with Emily in it. Emily graduated with honors, launching her own startup, inspired by Mark's resilience. And Jake? He turned his life around, volunteering at a youth center, helping kids like his younger self. In the end, this story isn't just about a single dad and a secret heiress. It's a reminder that kindness ripples outward, that protecting the vulnerable, even when you're vulnerable yourself, can heal wounds you didn't know you had. No matter your station in life, stand up for what's right. You might just save someone, or even yourself. If this tale moved you, smash that like button, share it with a friend who needs inspiration, and subscribe for more stories that prove heroes walk among us every day. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.